Good day, everybody. My name is Nick Furci, and from the dataset, I evaluated the relationship between political affiliation and gender on perceived importance of privacy, escapism, and avoiding unpleasant interactions. So there's been a growing problem of political polarization within the United States, and it isn't just a Trump presidency problem either. In 1960, it was found that only 5% of people would be disapproving if their child married somebody of the opposite political affiliation. However, by 2008, that number increased to 27% of Republicans and 20% of Democrats being disapproving. But then, only 2 years into the Obama presidency, those numbers increased to 49% of Republicans and 33% of Democrats. So what does that mean? It means that dating is inherently political, where people rate others of the same political affiliation more positively than those in the outgroup. And it seems that household solidarity, meaning that a husband, wife, children, however your family dynamic is, report being of the same political affiliation. And it seems that the driving factor in that is that people view others of the same affiliation as more romantically viable. Thus, political affiliation plays a large role in matchmaking. But if it plays such a large role, then why are people not readily expressing their affiliations politically on online dating sites? Well, what we know about solitude is that people often choose it because they are anticipating or have experienced negative interpersonal events. And with the growing polarization and political climate, people may be more in tune with experiencing negative interactions based on their politics. Despite this, though, conservatives have an increased likelihood of being happy, resilience, and engage in more self-regulatory behaviors than liberals. So then, would differences in political affiliation impact perceptions of solitude, specifically surrounding avoiding negative social interactions potentially? So I hypothesized that compared to liberal participants, conservatives will report a higher perceived importance of privacy, but a lower perceived importance of escapism and avoiding social interactions, while compared to women, men will report a higher perceived importance of privacy, but a lower perceived importance of escapism and avoiding social interaction. There were 501 participants in the sample, and 50.5% were female and 47.9% were male. And based on relationship status, 51.1% reported being married or living with their partner, and 38.3% reported being single. After inputting my data into SPSS, which is the statistical package for the social sciences, and doing the proper dummy coding on my variables and running multiple regressions, I essentially found that political affiliation had no significant relationship with privacy or avoidance. However, I did find that, consistent with my hypothesis, that political affiliation showed a significant negative relationship with escapism, meaning that the more liberal you were, the more you valued escapism. So in addition, after more analysis, I found that gender had no significant relationship with privacy, avoidance, or escapism, and I also found that gender had no significant relationship with political affiliation, contrary to what I hypothesized. One such limitation is limited internal validity, meaning that the scales and measures adopted and utilized by the original researchers to measure solitude were not specifically tailored to also measuring political affiliation, and those nuances were not accounted for. So in the future, I would change those measures. In addition, self-report bias of participants is extremely important to note, meaning that in certain contexts, participants will undercut or underreport their political affiliation and tailor it. So in a university context, it may be that participants are reporting being more liberal than they actually are to fit a certain narrative that they think of universities. The general implication of my study is that just because political affiliation does not impact certain perceptions of solitude, that it couldn't impact others and other specific dating behaviors. So, for example, conservatives self-report a higher positivity towards intimacy in relationships than liberals. This could indicate that conservatives may report a higher perceived importance of intimacy than liberals. In the future, it would be important to consider striating based on political issue. So, for example, if someone has a more polarizing take on a more polarizing issue, how could that affect their perceptions of solitude and willingness to avoid social interaction?